Hey guys, in this episode we're going to continue building on our magic button. When we click play, I'll show you what I have implemented. We click on magic with our magic menu display, and now the buttons, clicking the buttons gives the action of reducing the health. See, I'm doing fire. That's 10 health at a time I have configured. Same thing with blizzard, thunder, and when I do cure, it increases by 10 points each click, and it's clamped so it does not exceed the max 250 for the character. And then there's fire, another example of reducing, well, I guess that's a mistake, but for Blazara you can see it does 20 at a time, and same with Thundara. So this one I just have to update, but we can even do that now. So we now, and then Cura cures by 20 points. So based on each button that's selected, we set up different data sets to have different reactions. And now I'm no longer just clicking the 1 and the 2 button to impact the character's health. So let's fix one thing real quick. I noticed when I clicked fire, which is the level above fire, it's only doing 10 at a time. So that should be pretty easy in our data table. Fire. Interesting. It is supposed to be 20. Oh, I see. Because it's probably coded wrong when I name it Fire. What I noticed here is the row name is Fire, but the magic spell is Fire. So what I'm thinking when I update Fire, save. Let's just save all real quick. Let's test it out. Let's restart the play. Action time bar is going. Magic, fire. All right, now we're doing 20 at a time. Cool. Nice little hotfix. So how to do all this? Let's walk through it. But first, head on over to the Discord server, and you can find all of the key screenshots for this episode. I have each YouTube video posted has its own channel on the left-hand bar. So head on over and contribute to any discussion. So back to here, let's start. I started with the struct, and the reason is I needed to map data to the magic buttons. So when you need data, like we've covered in the prior episodes, when you need data, you need to start with a struct. So the struct maps out the columns that will apply for each data table. So for here, what we needed was the name of a magic spell and a name type, some numbers like damage and heal, magic effect. We set up a couple new enumerators, which I'll walk through in just a moment. MP cost is another integer. We did not build this out yet, but that's okay. And then we have target type and elemental. So there's 3 enumerators that I created for this episode. Battle effect would be damage, heal, status, and buff. Today we only work off of damage and heal. That's what was subtracting and adding health. Another one we did was the enumerator was for magic elemental. Later on I want to have like element effects. For instance, a fire might do a fire burn effect, kind of like Pokemon classic style. And then what do we have here? Battle magic target. So here we didn't build this out, but I'm just set some stuff up for later. We get to decide whether the magic response impacts only the user itself or the party or enemy or all enemies. So from there, we input information into the data table. I made sure it's important to have the row name match the magic spell because we do some coding to pull the row name, and I want it to match the magic spell. And it's case sensitive. So this is a small data set, kept it to 8. And I filled in just the basic information, like how much damage. And this is where it was triggering 10 health points per click on that fire button. Another thing we needed for setup was another blueprint interface. I don't like the name that I chose, but right now I chose one called BPI Battle Response. And then within that, I've got a magic spell response. So I'm thinking as we build, we'll have like an item response, a attack category response, all these different responses. I'm not a programmer, so I don't know the better word for response. But in it, we have two inputs, a battle magic spell row name. That's why I was saying the row name should match the magic name, because the way I've set it up is that they rely on each other to match. And then battle magic effect. This is where we decide what happens as a result if an attack is a damage attack versus a heal attack. So that's why in the magic menu, when I was clicking the different types of damage effects, it does not like connect data on a button per button basis. What it does is it decides whether or not that button is of type damage or of type heal. It's much cleaner that way and more scalable. So now that we have the setup, the coding was pretty short. We start in the magic button. We pull a get of magic button, and we drag off an enumerator to string. From there, string to name, so that we can match the magic button name with the magic spell row name. I tried without this and I was running into issues because when I just did enumerator to name, what happens was the data wasn't reading correctly. It would be pulling, and I could tell by using a print string, it would be like new enumerator 1, new enumerator 2, new enumerator number 3. So the data table was not pulling what I wanted because it was not registering these names correctly. So then what I just did was I first put the enumerator to a string, then to a name, and that seemed to work. I don't know if there's a better workaround, but it worked. And then we get the data table row. I have a print string just for a debug to let me know if the row is not found. And then we break it and then break the magic spell into the magic spell response BPI message type. One thing that I learned, which might be obvious, but get owning player is a type of controller. It even says right there, get the player controller associated with this UI. Originally I had get player character and I wasn't getting any results. But then I realized I need the get owning player. And then what I also learned is that the controller should have all things related to the UI, because originally I was putting this code in the character and I later updated it. So that's going to be it here. We've got screenshots in the Discord, and then lastly in the controller to implement the event. We went to the class settings. Over here, it's minimized. We added the BPI battle response, which then over here allowed us to pull the magic spell response by right-clicking and doing an implement event to generate this. Then we get the data table row and we select which data table we're working with. And then from the inputs of the BPI, we drag it on over to a switch. This is what I mentioned earlier, where the damage versus heal is not tied on a per button basis. Otherwise, if we have 30 magic spells, there would be 30 different lines of code. So this is much more scalable. We just indicate whether the magic type is damage or of heal. Later on, we'll get status and buff effects. And then we build off of what we already had created. So if it's damage, we do get third person character reference. And we apply damage in the amount of what's in the data table row, and we only care to see the damage and the heal at this moment. That way the break isn't all the way down here, the long break. The code looks cleaner this way. So with all of that, we get those results we were looking at. This is probably getting errors just because I updated during play. I don't expect. Let's test it out. So we have magic, fire is reducing HP, blizzard reducing, cure. I'm just gonna click all of these a few times because I want to see if there's any more error codes. Nope, no error codes. So that's it for this episode. In the next one, what I think I want to explore is something kind of cool. I want to have different visual effects based on the button that's pushed. If we do cure, maybe we get a blue light around us. If we do blizzard, again, maybe blue, but fire and thunder, yellow and red, respectively. I think that'd be cool to get a little visual effect going, make it interesting. Thanks, guys.